Welcome to Bendy. Join your two favorite transatlantic weirdos, Andy from Ireland and Beth from the USA, as we take you on a journey through every topic imaginable, with insight, vulnerability, and fart jokes, or in other words, the complete human experience.
Hello, and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your feral domesticated hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other feral and domesticated host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
What's the crack with you? Hold on.
It's been a while since we've seen each other. This is a little peek behind the podcast.
Yes, it's been like three weeks
since
we've actually chit-chatted.
It's too long.
I was going to say far too long.
Exactly.
Far too long. So it's good to see you. I missed you, and it's almost like this has become a way for me to process my week. And so you're like, how are you? What's happened? I'm like, I don't even know what's happened. So much to tell you.
It's like our free
more than one episode.
It's like our free therapy sessions, our free weekly therapy sessions.
Yeah. And maybe for other people too.
Let's hope
I'm
so.
for saving people some money because you're saving me some.
Glad to hear it.
So yeah, the crack. I just got back from French Polynesia.
Ooh la la.
Oh no.
The worst possible response.
I know. Ooh la la. So it was lovely. We go there for the holidays, as I was saying. If you're catching up on podcasts, our podcast specifically.
Yeah,
so
the
tropics are always an adventure. This year we had the same car that the gendarmes drive.
Ooh.
So the gendarmes are the French police that they're the French police that are on the Tahitian Islands. And so that was interesting because everyone was like turning on their headlights when they saw us, or like slowing down, or like
nice.
People kept
so
asking us. And then there you have like, it's basically like we're the narcs. We're the narcs, but they give you like a big orange dot on the back of your car, and that means like you're a rental.
Okay.
So all these Tahitians were like, how did you get that car? And we're like, we don't know, just, we had 6 bags.
Yep.
We need a bigger car. Got to bring out, it's like we bring the kitchen sink with us because we're American. Not really. A lot of it was sporting equipment.
Yeah.
So that happened. We also had a feral rooster.
Nice.
That was in the tree outside our window, but it took us 3 days to figure out where it was. And it was crowing at 2:45 in the morning.
Ooh.
Every 30 minutes.
What
it was
asshole.
so infuriating. I was so mad. I've never been so mad at any animal in my life, which I know our topic this week is I won't get into that yet, but we had plans. Like Mike ended up like chasing it out of the tree at 4:30 in the morning. It was up on the roof. He had like the back and the front hoses on, and he's like spraying it with a hose. It's like running back and forth and like flying off the roof. And like we were like laid in wait the next night out in the front porch, just like sitting and waiting for the chicken to come back, trying to figure out where the chicken was, and like it was a whole thing. So that happened.
Love it.
No staph infections, so that's always good.
Yep.
Mike he lived there for 4 years, so he, I think, had staph 14 times.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
At one point, I think I told you this, like he had staph on his foot, and one of his the scientists that he was working with was like, that looks like an anus on your foot. It looks like you have foot anus.
You did great, thanks.
So that's always what I think about when I think of staph infection. I as a long COVID survivor, did something really cool that I sent you a message about. I actually went scuba diving for the first time in 5 years. 5 years.
That's awesome.
So I never thought I was going to be able to do that again, and I did it.
That's huge.
2 times. Mm-hmm.
And was it good? Did you enjoy it?
It was. Yeah, I saw turtle. Like it's like
Nice.
you go down, you swim around, you see some stuff, and you go back up. But I saw sharks, I saw turtles, I saw a Titan trigger.
Ooh.
They'll bite you. And then just the reef, and there's a starfish that it's almost like I wonder if it's on a cycle. It's a starfish called the crown of thorns,
Okay.
and it looks like
I think
a
that sounds
star.
familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You may have them. I'm not sure what region, but they eat coral, and so they're in the process of eating the reef,
Oh
which
yeah.
is always a bad thing because that causes the reef to die. But uh, when we were there for our honeymoon in 2009, like the reef had been decimated,
Oh.
and people were like, "It's not going to come back," but it did. So it's just interesting to see sort of how the I know a lot about coral reefs because that was what Mike's research was
Mm-hmm.
in. So algae and reef, very 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 interesting. But what you start to realize is that coral reefs are really like the building blocks for all of life, and if we don't have coral reefs, then you know oxygen isn't made. Fishing, like fish die,
Yeah.
and it's a whole the trickle down is real bad. So
There was something like again this is misremembering bits and pieces of stuff talking about the kind of evolution of life, and sort of one of the first sort of processes was the tubes kind of at the bottom of the ocean that kind of like pushed air in and out, and how that has been the building blocks for like how breathing works and all that sort of stuff, so that makes a ton of sense.
yeah, and we have a friend, Frank Murphy, who does research on the island of Titiaroa, which is where the Brando Resort is.
Mm-hmm.
It's where all the famous people go for peace and quiet. That's where Obama wrote his book, and
Ooh,
like Beyonce had her birthday and that kind of thing.
must
But
be
they actually
nice.
are, I know, right? But they're actually doing like it's the research that they're doing is really really
Mm,
interesting. Sorry, I'm just blabbing right now, but
it's good.
so what they're doing now is they're focusing on deep coral, and what they're realizing is that deep coral actually feeds the coral that's more on surface
Okay,
level,
okay,
and like no one's doing deep, like not no one but very few people are doing deep coral research, and so they're like building submersibles to be able to go farther
very
because
cool.
no one really has done science below like 250 300 feet,
Yeah,
and so they're going to start doing that, which is pretty cool. So
awesome.
TTRO Society hashtag,
Yeah,
very cool, and donate so that we can save our Earth
yeah,
basically
yeah.
because
Please,
that's what they're doing, and
please.
it's super cool. Um, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my update on what we've been up to.
Okay, nice. It was good.
How about you? What's the crack?
Um,
Crack.
so I had a lovely time. I went to Scotland since we last saw each other, and it was
Hmm.
really nice. Saw lots of lovely people. It's just nice to be in their presence for a while. I went to a panto, which is going to be confusing for. We're going to touch on this more in the future, I
Can
think.
you can you spell it?
Panto.
Pento.
Panto. And we're going. I think it definitely is something we need to expand on, because I think the folks in the US are not going to have a clue what it is. It is very esoteric. It is very kind of British, and the one I saw was even like an alternative panto. So just layers upon layers, but it was wonderful as a result. I had a great time.
So
Uh,
it's theater,
it
right?
is theater. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's loosely. Normally, it's based on a fairy tale or something like that. So oftentimes it'll be Jack and the Beanstalk, or Cinderella, etc., etc. Those sorts of things. But it will be like there'll be a spin on it, and there's like a lot of like tropes that are common with a lot of pantos and things like that. So but it was great fun. Um,
What's a trope? What's a trope?
Trope is a commonality. So
Okay, common theme.
yeah, yeah, very much so. Um,
Okay.
and I went to Achille, which I think I've been talking about. I talked about Achille in the podcast before, which is like,
Yeah, but then you texted me, and
uh-huh.
I assumed I knew how to spell it, and then you sent me something, and I was just like, "Is this what he was talking about?" Because it's spelling's so weird, and then I had to Google it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I think I've spelled it like three different ways, and probably not one of them is right. Um, but it was like, I think probably, I don't know, I have no idea what this is like, but like a square dance or a barn dance is
Oh yeah.
probably, there's probably connective tissue there. So it's
Do
that sort of
you
idea.
do you do the same dance moves
You do.
as all the other people?
You do.
Okay.
And it's like a big, and some of it is partner based stuff, and some of it, you know, you dance with a partner for a bit, then you change partners. Some of it is more like everybody's involved, you know, so you're like, you're going down a queue. There's people on both sides. You're locking arms with people. You're spinning around. You're then moving on the
Okay.
queue until you get to the
I'm
end.
just
It's great.
right. I'm picturing you all in Victorian wear, so
Oh, well, we were. So that's great.
of course.
Yeah, but it was great fun, and it was very much exactly what I needed. So yeah, it was lovely. It was nice. It was a nice
Sounds
treat.
amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
That sounds amazing.
It was.
Was it like something out of a movie?
I like, you know, as per usual in these things, I go in and I'm like, oh no, there's lots of strangers there that I have to talk to, and but had a few whiskeys, settled my nerves. Tragic that I need that, but there you go.
It's okay.
It's fine.
I knew when you were sending me messages.
When I was sending you messages,
I'm here. Yeah, and I was like, he's had a few.
He's drunk, and
it made me so happy.
yeah, that's good. And but it was really nice. And like once I like had my first dance, I was like, okay, I'm into this. I love it. And it's also was like, it made me realize that not everybody is doing it perfectly, and it's about having fun, which I did have, you know. So, yeah, it was great. So,
have you? This is off topic, but have you ever done country line dancing before?
I have not. Like, my mom is actually a big fan. So there's like a lot of line dancing. We in this country, there's a fair bit of it. There's strangely, I mean, maybe this is the case in a lot of different countries, but there's quite a big country and western scene in Northern Ireland. There's even like homegrown Northern Irish country acts. Yeah, no.
I'm so into this.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like, so yeah, I've never done it, and I think I always was a bit, you know, no, this wouldn't be my type of thing. But no, I would absolutely give line dancing a go or whatever, you know.
They taught it in gym class.
Yeah, nice. Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I still remember the electric slide, and like jump forward, jump back, forward, back, click your heels, forward, back, side kick. I can do it.
I love it.
I'm really embarrassed now.
That's a.
I was really excited to tell you that.
We have to do the electric slide as a video sometime in the future.
We do. Keep going.
But it was great. But I think that's probably you know, enough of my crack for this past week. But it was a nice time and great to see.
What was Scotland like in general?
Lovely. I mean, like it's the same as here in that the weather is up and down. So like it's rain some days. It's cold, you know. But I really like Scotland. It's really picturesque. It's the scope, you know, because Northern Ireland's so small. Even Ireland itself is pretty small. Like the scope of Scotland is sound kind of like so much bigger, and kind of it feels grander than Northern Ireland in a lot of ways. Like even our bigger, there is like slightly more mountainous area, but like it's mostly hills as opposed to like mountains, you know. And
Gotcha.
even being at my friend's place in Innerleithen, he's in on the borders, which is just a kind of region, exactly that, kind of coming close to the border with the UK, with England rather, and like coming out of his house and like just there's this towering like I don't know if it is a mountain, but like it's just a towering like mountainous hill type thing with like woods and stuff like that, and just it was just kind of breathtaking. So it was really nice.
That's lovely. Yeah, I'm jealous. I've never been anywhere in Europe other than France.
Yeah.
So
Portugal now.
Like to. Oh yeah.
Sure.
You're like Beth.
Do you remember? Not so long ago. I am not trash talking Northern Ireland because like even today I was doing some dog walks and it was a lovely day and I was taking the dog down and there was just this sort of crest of a hill and I could see the sea on the other side and you know how green it is, and it was like, this is pretty nice here. On a good day it's pretty beautiful.
I had the same feeling coming home.
Mm-hmm.
Mike keeps saying like he'll open a cabinet and be like, there are no roaches. I just hear it, like he'll be screaming across the house like there's no gecko shit
Yeah.
in here. I can actually open this cupboard and like not just shut the door and like move on to
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
one.
Just go. I'm done.
And just be like, this one is going to be sealed for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's really clean here. And it's sunny. It was 29 degrees this morning, but like it's 60 whatever now. And it's just like the sky is blue. It rained, but it rained at night.
Nice.
It's just it's nice here. It's nice to be. It is. I will say it's nice to be home.
Yeah.
It's nice to be home.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
And I told you this. It's nice to have the kids back in school. Love you, children.
Sure.
When you're listening to this in like 10 years.
Yeah. What? Mother.
Sorry. Sorry. A lot of family time. So, but it all was good.
Good. No, it's good.
Yeah.
So, just moving on, Beth, I've got to ask you this next question. What's occurring?
Well, so our listener, Gareth, actually commented on... I'm going to bring up the Halloween turnips again.
Okay, I've got some Halloween turnip info as well here, so yeah.
Favorite topic. Okay. So he said that turnips were the original jack-o'-lanterns and have in fact been found in Irish peat bogs that are like, they're still finding them and they're super well preserved.
Very interesting.
And that pumpkins were used by Irish immigrants in America because they were more plentiful to find than turnips themselves.
That's similar to some info I have, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, so then who invented the Halloween jack-o'-lantern? Can we say a point for Ireland or a point for the United States? Because it's all about who wins, right?
Oh, 100% Ireland. I have information that is easily going to give Ireland the win here, Beth.
Okay. So then I was like, all right, what the heck? So then I was like, I Googled it a little bit more, and I wanted to know why the turnips at all. And I'm going to pronounce something wrong, and then hopefully you'll correct me. And if not, then hopefully a listener listeners will correct me. So Irish families started carving turnips into grotesque shapes and lighting them in order to scare Jack, whoever that is, I don't know, and other evil spirits away on the night of Samhain.
Yes, that's Samhain. Samhain, yeah.
Samhain.
Mm-hmm.
On the Celtic calendar, Samhain happened to be the same night as Halloween in England. So that's what I know.
This is so the only reasons, the Americans carved pumpkins is because Irish immigrants brought the tradition to the US. Pumpkins were easier to find and carve, so they used those instead, which is what you said.
So were they Americans or were they?
They're probably
what nationality were they in?
Irish
Irish
identifying Americans. See how I slid between that controversy
I'm
there?
pretty sure I get a point.
Okay. So, we'll get the adjudicators to take a look at that.
I think maybe 0.5 for you and 0.5 for me.
All right, okay, we can live with that. So, turnip carving and the whole Halloween, which is Samhain tradition, all originated in Ireland. It was a time when the veil between the living and the dead was the thinnest. The carved faces were meant to scare away the dead and light the area for the living. And same for the dressing up. It was to allow the living to disguise themselves amongst the dead. And so it's brought over by Irish immigrants. So you're welcome, America. Because we barely friggin' do it here anymore. Yeah.
But it's like with all holidays, like we're talking about Easter eggs, right? It's like, why do we do the thing that we do? I don't know. So now we know why we carve pumpkins.
Yeah.
And I will have more. I think I'll have more respect for it now, honestly.
Yeah.
Before I'm just gonna carve the eye, do the snaggletooth thing, and then. Yeah.
But you'll respect.
But this year, I'm gonna it's gonna be fucking freaky.
It's gonna be tight. Yeah. It's gonna be. Your Halloween pumpkin.
It's gonna be terrifying.
Terrifying and just really well defined, facial structure.
You know what I think I'm gonna do? Actually, I think I'm gonna carve the Irish turnip into the American pumpkin.
So just wow, it's gonna be a lot of work, Beth.
It's so meta.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like it. You're like, what's going on? I have no frame of reference for this.
I know, but so the Halloween turnip lore and history continues here on podcast.
I'm wondering whether it's got to the point where we should have a turnip update piece in a news segment every week.
Maybe it may be
something to think about.
I'm working on a t-shirt because I want to wear one.
Definitely. Okay, I like that. Yeah. So stay tuned for your turnip wear.
Yes. And then we had do you have anything else on turnips?
No.
Okay. A lot of people also hate cell phones.
Nice, good,
When we were talking about
smart.
phones and sleep, maybe, or was that
Yeah,
episode? I don't remember. But silencing and do not disturb. A lot of people are like, I just do this. I
my
just
phone.
like total silence, total do not disturb for like everyone and everything.
That's me too. Like I,
Yeah.
my phone is basically always in do not disturb. Like it wasn't that way for a while, but I started just before lockdown, for reasons we'll get into in another episode, and then I just never stopped, and I just don't. And like, see, whenever I turn it back on, like maybe for a day or whatever, like this. The like sound, the updates just give me shakes. I'm just like, ugh, I have a visceral reaction to them, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This sucks.
Yes. I was watching The Green Lantern last night
No,
the
no,
first
I'm
time.
sorry.
It's okay. It's actually not as I've heard it's bad, and like we watched
Yeah.
Deadpool, and he's like making fun of the Green
Yes.
Lantern, which is super funny. But then I watched it, and I was like, there are some superhero movies that are just at this level of
Yeah.
quality. Not naming any, but
A lot of
it
recent
wasn't.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we didn't finish it, but there was one point where like he like opened a flip phone, and I was like, "Kids, that's a flip phone! Like that's the phone we used to have."
Yeah.
And it was like pre whatever.
Uh,
And I miss
Me
when you would
too.
have to push the button
Yes.
for like texting
It was nice
and
whenever.
like saying "I'll be there soon" took like 10 minutes.
It was nice. I know, but that was nice. Yeah, because you had to like tap the button 3 times to get the letter. So C is, but yeah, it was.
Yep.
And I kind of like that because they actually felt like what they should be, which is a kind of an item to connect you to other people rather than you know, an abyss to draw your attention.
Yes.
Just sucks you in.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
So lots of people also agree. So just saying, cell phone companies keep those flip phones handy because there are a lot of us out there that I think
Yeah.
I know I said this and I really do mean it. Well, can I do that with a podcast? I don't know. Maybe I'll have two phones,
We don't.
one for
We don't.
one for podcasting and one for regular.
we we need to be careful as well. We don't want to anger big cell phone because if they come after us.
Oh, that's true. No.
We love you, cell phones. We do.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, please sponsor us. I have another what's occurring, which is I
Okay.
was told to. I have more, but I'm going to save some for future weeks. But I had a piece of feedback that we need to tighten up our stay bendy at the end of the episode. Now,
Like it's too long.
it's just too chaotic. Now, me being me, that just makes me want to turn up the chaos even more. Sorry.
Like we're not like what I don't understand.
And me neither.
It's not
It's
too
perfect.
long. It's not coming like we're not in tune.
We're not.
It's
We're not sync.
Do they understand that like we're each trying to hold out longer
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
other?
yeah. Like it's a competition, basically. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know
Which
now.
I didn't know until like 3 weeks ago. And then I was like, I think I get it now. Andy's trying to like outbreathe me.
It's like me doing like the competitive arm in yoga. It's like I don't mean to, but I'm doing mine
Uh-huh.
the longest
You're-
and the
He
most
means
resonant.
om.
Yeah,
He
sorry.
means om.
Yeah, I do. Thanks.
Om.
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 Right, we're not going to start an om contest.
No, we're not gonna. Okay, I didn't name the topic.
I
have nothing clever.
I have one, and I suppose
Okay,
if
do
I
you wanna
say
do
it, then
it?
it's going to happen. So this week, folks, our topic is pets rule, humans drool.
Ooh, that's good.
Do we like that? Are we okay with
yeah.
that? Okay. I mean, like,
So pets rule, humans drool.
yeah. So like, I don't really like generalizing. I don't like particularly coming after big groups, but humans feel like a well-deserving target, and pets do rule. So
It's true.
Mine
Mine was we'd make great pets.
yeah,
Play on Jane's addiction.
yeah.
But theirs is wheel because I don't want to get sued.
That's a good point.
But I like yours better, so you win.
Okay.
Fine, 2 points or 1.5 points for Ireland.
Huzzah! Ireland
Huzzah!
comes ahead finally. So yeah,
So welcome to Pets Rule Humans Drool
Mhm.
week, everyone.
like already, and I mean just in terms of doing preparation for this, We could do multiple episodes on this, I think, easily. So let's see how we get
Agreed.
on, and we can revisit this topic in the future. Um, so I guess just to begin with, Beth, do you want to talk about the pets that you both have and have had, or?
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah. How about you?
yeah, I mean, absolutely comfortable to talk about that as well.
And honestly, future pets that I'd like to
Yeah,
have,
yes, let's talk about
which I'm always on the market for.
aspirational pets as well. Yeah, is a strong topic. So,
Uh-huh.
do you want to start us off and just talk a little bit about pets that you've had and have had?
Yeah. So I actually made a list,
Nice.
and I'm gonna speed read some of these.
Yeah.
But early days of childhood turtles. We had a Springer Spaniel named Freckles, who was like the coolest dog ever.
Nice.
And if maybe we'll talk about favorite pets.
Yes.
And then another Spaniel that was like a grand champion show dog.
Nice.
Then I had the best cat ever,
Mm-hmm.
Sweetie Head.
Yes, you
who
told me about
also-
Sweetie Head. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sweetie Head was she was so great. She hated everyone and hated me, and was just this little ball of hate. The Cheat. Do you ever watch Homestar Runner?
Oh yes. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I named my cat after the Cheat from Homestar
Thought about
Runner.
that for ages. Uh-huh.
The Cheat, the Cheat.
Yes.
Yeah. I fostered parrots.
Yep.
I generally save animals and then like sometimes acquire them and sometimes let them go depending on like their state of survival.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we've had a lot of cats.
Yeah.
We've just had a lot of cats, but Mike's allergic to cats, and so we're no longer a cat household. So we've got a rabbit that's 9,
Mm-hmm.
Sophie.
Yes.
Yep.
I met Sophie. Didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then Frankie, Five Angels,
I've met.
the bird,
Mm-hmm.
named after the character in The Godfather, and then Star, the dog,
Mm-hmm.
who Harper named. So
Star's awesome.
otherwise, I don't know what I would have named her. Definitely not Star,
It's very sweet.
but something weird. Yeah. So
That's good.
those are my past pets and my
Current pets.
current pets. Yes.
So like,
What about you?
I mean, it's a very short list.
Yeah.
Sadly, because like for when we were kids.
Oh, and I had a hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had my sister
was
had
really
hamsters, but like it was
Okay.
just we because we both desperately wanted pets, but our parents just weren't really pet people. Now they have now really come around to dogs in a big way, but so there was no dogs, no cats for us. We did have goldfish, which is the kind of a I guess we
We had
needed.
goldfish too.
I guess we need to make
A something.
a concession to these kids and give them something. So we had goldfish. And
How long did the goldfish live?
not long. Like they would. We had two. I remember who lived for a good chunk of time, and then we went on holiday, and I think it was just the change of environment. They went to my aunt's house, and they died, and I remember being quite upset about it. But whatever. Then.
I had a goldfish live for 10 years.
I'm told that they can live for a long old time and like in the proper environment because like it's something I found out recently and I don't know whether this is true was that a lot of times goldfish like the environment's too small and it physically kills them just because they need to get bigger and they can't and they just die as a result because like all too often it would be very like I guess the size of a dinner plate that size of a bowl and you'd have multiple fish in there and it's like that's far too small as it turns out.
Yeah.
So we had those. My sister was able to have some hamsters or possibly gerbils and they were cool but they were very much my sister's sort of thing. Then like nothing for years. Like I had friends who had dogs and I loved their dogs and I always kind of wanted to kind of like take the leap. Whenever I was in Korea my sister got a border collie, the first of 4 they now have, the maniacs.
Right? You sent me a video of like you walking up to your sister's house and like all the border collies coming out and attacking you.
There's a picture that is like a furry wave. I love them to bits. Like,
It's a furry wave.
They are. It's my favorite thing. Like, cause like they just assault me. It's mad, but I love it so much. And so that sort of broke the seal. So like she had 2 dogs, and then I ended up a couple of years later. A friend of mine He had a dog of his own. His sister had a dog. His sister moved to England. He ended up with the two dogs, and one of the dogs, he was like, I just can't, I'm living by myself. This is too much. So he was going to put his sister's dog on Gumtree. And I'd met his sister's dog before, and he said, look, I know you've been thinking about getting a dog. Would you be interested? And I was like, if you're going to put her in Gumtree, then yeah, let's...
What's Gumtree?
Gumtree's
Is it like... Is it like we have
Craigslist or something like that? No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. Is I think that people sell stuff on the... I know, yeah, exactly. Something you don't want to put a living animal on, because who knows who's going to take it.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, let's give it a go, and then that's how I ended up with Sasha. So thankfully, it was kind of...
How old was Sasha when you got her then?
I think she was about two, okay. two and a half, thereabouts. So she was still pretty young, but she had got most of her, Hallion-y sort of, young years out of her, which was probably good. Like, she was still like a Hallion a bit, but like she's such a calm sort of placid dog, So yeah, and that's it, and that's me up to date. It's my current, pet situation is my dog Sasha, and she is absolutely my favorite, and probably will be from now until forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when you get a good one, like Sweetie had. That cat had 9 lives. She had so many illnesses. The last 3.5 years of her life, she had renal failure.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so we were giving her, So we gave her IVs. Started once a week at home. Subcutaneous or sublingual, the one under the skin, not under the tongue.
Is right, yeah.
Subcutaneous fluids. So we would buy the IV bags and get all the stuff from the vet, and then Mike and I would sit there and put, and it would sometimes roll down her leg, and she'd have a big old leg until her body would absorb the fluids. We did that for 3.5 years because they loved that cat so freaking much. Yeah. And she drank beer.
Nice.
Everyone's no wonder she had renal failure. But it was you would have one laying around and she would find it and grab it and
she had an appetite for it? Yeah, wow.
You'd be holding her and she'd grab the beer and then you'd feed her the beer like a baby. I have photos.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah. And it was I got her in college. It was this cat drinks beer, and all my college friends were like, "Oh my god,
the best college cat ever." Mm-hmm. Was it so many people I know in this country cats come to them, so we have so many there's a delineation over here between house cats and outdoors cats, and some people only keep their cats indoors, and some people let the cats go outdoors for a bit and then have them in the house occasionally. I don't know where I was going
there's
with that.
Indoor cats, same thing. It's same thing here. Indoor cats or indoor outdoor, but rarely just outdoor. That's not really a thing unless they have a job, which is on the farm catching mice, and then they're just outdoor cats. But more in the suburbs, it's definitely
I think it's definitely more a bit of a mixture, but I think as a result, my sister's had 2 cats, and her eldest cat, essentially they adopted him, but they knew that he visited multiple people's houses and would spend big chunks of time there and get fed by them, and they would be and they have a different name for him and everything,
Yes. There's a children's book called 6 Dinner Sid, and it's about this black cat that goes to 6 different houses every day and gets 6 different dinners, and then they somehow realize that the cat is eating all the food.
I love it. I mean, it's so typical.
The cat to a different street, and the cat starts doing it all over again. Yeah. So, I think, in some cases, I've gotten an animal on purpose, but in other cases, animals, I don't know if this happens, but in your country, but an animal kind of just adopts you.
Yeah.
And they just show up and they just never leave. And you're okay, I guess we have this dog now. That's what happened with our dog Freckles. This is in North Carolina.
Yeah. I suppose that...
And she would just show up. She would show up on our porch. And she would stay the summer.
That's mad.
And finally, every year, year 2 or year 3, my dad walked over to the owner's house and was I'm taking your dog. Here's $100. She's been, you don't care.
Yeah, you don't, yeah.
She's literally been at our house 24/7 for 2 months. So
That's more surprising actually in terms of like dogs free roaming over here is extremely rare, and it's like something I've noticed is more common. It was more common in like Taiwan and Korea and things like that. I noticed, but like it's very very uncommon here. Um, like when we were when I was in the US last year, a friend and I hiked Mount Baldy, and we just it was like it was a sunny day. It wasn't like a super hot day, but it was a sunny day, and um, we were just like coming back down the mountain, and there was like these two dogs, and one of them was like really struggling because of the heat, and it's like, what the fuck, and um, so we were on our way down. Most of the people we met were on their way up. We like gave it the water and stuff we had. We had like some. My friend had like some jerky and things like that. We gave the dogs some jerky, and we just kind of like shepherded them down the mountain, and like, and it was kind of annoying because like, people were judging us and giving us shit, and we're like, no, this isn't our dogs. We're and then immediately they were like, oh no, and we're like, yeah, we're trying to get these dogs down the mountain. We took it. We arrived at this sort of out of season ski lodge that was still kind of set up and serving food and whatever. Went in, said to the owner, look, here's the situation. They're like, oh yeah, yeah, I know who owns these dogs. I'm just gonna give them a call. And it's like, to me, that really blew my mind.
yeah, that I think it depends on where you are. If you're in the city, like there's doggy daycare, there's doggy hotel,
Yeah,
there's like, you take your dog to daycare, literally. Dog walkers, it's a big thing. Like people like their dogs are their children,
yeah,
and like who knew that dog hotels and doggy daycare is like a thing that I'm still wrapping my brain around. Um, but I also, work or am home during the day. So
yeah.
our doggy doesn't need. She has all the laps she could ever want. Um, but out farther, that's yeah, they're working
Yeah.
dogs, but at the same time, um, the care isn't quite as great, and you
Yeah.
will find dogs that need uh, help that aren't being taken care of in a way that they should be,
Yeah,
and
that sucks. But
yeah, yeah. And I just got back from the tropics where there's packs of wild dogs
yeah.
just like running around and laying on the side of the road, and I'm like, is it dead or is it napping? And it's always napping, and I'm like, don't nap on the side of the road, you're gonna get hit.
Um,
you know
it happened in the mountainous areas in Taiwan as well. We would sometimes go up into the mountains and there would just be packs of dogs and all sorts of different dogs that had just been like abandoned, had
yeah,
just ran off into the mountains, which is
yeah,
a wild concept in this country.
yeah, yeah. But then you see them, and when it's a pack of them, they look happy.
They do. Like,
So it's like,
it was always kind of unnerving to me. I was like, oh. Because I remember
yeah,
clearly one time we were on scooters and we were like going around the bend, and it was on the bend there was like 14 dogs, and I was like, should I get how close should I get to these guys? I just didn't know how they would react. um but yeah, it's just again, it's just no frame of reference for that, certainly in this country. Again, I I we probably have really restrictive laws over it. I think we do, which probably prevents those things happening quite as much, but yeah, it's pretty nice.
yeah. And I think also, getting a dog, we call it getting it fixed,
Yes.
spayed or neutered, like that's it costs money. So
Yeah.
some people don't, so, and especially in the tropics, like that's a huge issue.
Yeah. And that's just you're having dog puppies and they're all over the shop. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I buy dog food every time.
Yeah.
I know at the lab that Mike used to work at, we always either leave dog food. Last year we were there were like a litter of puppies,
Yeah.
and we're like, the adoption process was like 5 months long, and we're like, well, we can't stay here for that long in order to get this happening, and who's going to take care of the dog in the meantime?
Yeah.
And so just do what we
You
can
just
do
do the
and
best you can do.
donate. Yeah, and then the lady that we rent the house from, she actually does like not dog rescue, but she gets them spayed or neutered, and so we always donate to the fund there.
Nice.
But yeah. So, question for you:
Mm-hmm.
big topic of conversation in the States is always Cats or dogs? Do you like cats more? Do you like? Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I mean, I
And this then tells me everything about your personality.
sure. I love both. Truly, I really do. I have such affection for both. I think I'm definitely more of a dog person, for sure. But I don't want to be in either one of those camps because I think they're both awesome for different reasons. But I'm probably a dog person. What about
Yeah,
you?
that's a really good answer. I'm both also,
Yeah.
and I think my dad had a bulldog
Mm-hmm.
named Dory who was like the funniest little creature ever, and I think she switched on my love of dogs. Like she would lay like all the we would all like be at the dinner table and like having a sad conversation, and like she'd be laying like at her feet and would just let out the most fractious
Yeah.
fart, and like you just be like hit with it, right? And everyone would be like, oh god,
No.
Dory, right? Yeah. And then you'd take her for a walk and she'd just stop. She'd be like, nope,
Yes.
I'm done. And then like Mike would like be taking her for a walk and he'd come home carrying her
Yeah.
on her back, and she'd just be stretched all the way out like I cannot. So, and then yeah, really I'd never had before Star. I'd never really I had the family always had a dog. Um but I never really had my own dog. And so like having my own dog is a totally different experience,
Yes.
I would say, and I love it.
Yes. I agree.
I love the love that she has for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
she came back from the doggy from the doggy hotel, um, day before yesterday, and like bypass like the kids were outside. They were like, "Dog!" Like Star, we're so excited. She like bypassed them completely and just like literally like jumped into my arms, and I was like, "Oh, like it's just." When they
Yes.
show you how much you
Oh,
mean to them, it just
100%.
So, but also I would say I love cats too. I
Yeah.
just like I love being ignored.
Yes.
I love being attacked. Like I used to wrap a towel around my arm and just let Sweetie Head just like go to town.
Yeah.
Like go, just kick,
I like
bite.
I like really low key fucking with cats as well. Like as in like I wouldn't actually ever hurt them. But like whenever I was living in Taiwan with my
Yeah.
girlfriend at the time, her and her brother were mean to the cat. They wouldn't hurt it, but they would like build its trust, and then they would screw it over, and it wouldn't come to them anymore at all.
Oh.
Which sucked. But like we built a nice relationship, and she was a ginger cat, and like every morning I would see her and I would pick her up and I would flip her onto her back and I'd give her belly a bit of a rub. And like she really like it took me a long time to build up that trust, and like she would sometimes let me do it for a while, but she would like complain for a bit and then she would get down. Like since after the effect I found out that like that's a really kind of sensitive thing for cats. That's a really kind of next level trust. I'm like I mean and we got there and she didn't like ever kind of lash at me or anything. We and so I was like, wow, actually that was really good, because like in future in future years my interactions, like my sister has or had two cats, but the cat that she has currently, the best interaction I have had with that cat is one time I was sitting in the sofa in my sister's house and the cat walked over me and I was like, it's happening. The cat's touched me voluntarily. And
It is a thing though. Like like obviously there are cats that are like dogs and dogs that are like cats, and like my dog is definitely like very much like a cat.
Yeah.
Like her mannerisms, and she wants to be in your lap all the time.
Nice.
She wants cuddles. Like she just and she's like 16 pounds. She's
a sweetheart.
big.
Whenever I was staying
totally met her.
Whenever I was staying with you guys, and there was like I think one of the last days I was with you, she like jumped up in my lap and I was like, yes.
Yeah. And it takes her a while to warm up to people, especially dudes. Like she's very picky about like who she lets in and who she doesn't, just like a cat would be. So, but yeah, I would say same answer. I like them both.
Yeah,
for different reasons.
They're totally rad.
And the same reasons. Yeah.
So one of the things, right? Okay, so this is one of the things I wanted to get to was that, and I think this is fairly common, is that if you have nicknames for your pets. So like I have a list of nicknames I have been building for Sasha over years, I would say. There are 23 names on this list.
23 names on your list?
I'm going to. My plan is. My plan is to read them all to you now without commentary.
Okay.
And then if you have
any
questions,
okay.
you can ask me afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Go.
Sausages. Super Woofer Supreme Ultra Plus. DJ Good Girl. Truffles, the Chocolate Hound, Fluffer Nuts, Wobbles, Wobs, DJ Lovely Face, Tinkles, Snuffles, Sniffles, Stinker, Major Stinker, Stinkicus Maximus, The Big Beefer, Bear, The World's Largest Bear, Beaner the Bear, Barrington, Sir Barrington Bearsley of the Barley Bears, Barcules, and finally, Barcule Poirot. This is my favourite. Sorry. I'm laughing at my own joke there. Truly demented.
Okay, so I have... Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I don't have as many, and I didn't write them down, so... I
keep a list on my phone.
I'm going to ask you questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, bears, what?
So the bear thing, right. So, basically, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was out with Sasha, and we were out in Seaside, and there was a mother there with her child, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and the child turned around and went, and I was like, and she was like, oh, I thought it was a bear. And it really made me laugh so much, and her mum was just like, what are you talking about? And we were just laughing, and it was just a lovely moment, and as a result, I ended up calling her Bear, and then the bear thing has just morphed and went insane.
Right.
And to the extent now that I call her Bear so much that she probably responds to it as much as she would respond to Sasha, which is my poor wee dog.
Okay, truffles?
I've got, I that's probably one that I couldn't, like, so I think that
like a piggy, like snuffing.
It was more like a film. It was more like so it was so that full name is Truffles: the Chocolate Hound. It's kind of like because she used to, and I know chocolate's bad for dogs. I mean, but she loves chocolate, and I don't get.
You know what? Dogs will eat anything. Yes. Including their own shit, so don't even get me started.
Exactly.
They'll eat chocolate.
She has, in the past, she has knocked chocolate off a branch to eat it. Mostly milk chocolate. It's never got to a stage where it's been needed vet intervention. She once, when with an ex's house, we had left 2 chocolate cakes on a bench, and we'd left her there, and she'd only been in the house a few times, and in retrospect she shouldn't have been there, but she must have been stressed in the house, so she knocked down both chocolate cakes and she ate them both.
I'm stressed, I gotta eat something.
So that's where Truffles the Chocolate Hound came from, and it was, so I guess with Truffles the Chocolate Hound it was because of chocolate truffles, so it's all chocolate themed, I guess.
Gotcha. Not like a pig rooting for truffles.
No. More like chocolate truffles. Yeah, but you mean very much like a pig rooting for truffles. But
Big Beefer.
Big Beefer is probably I don't know where Big Beefer came from. It's like there's a few in there that just make me laugh when I call her that, like the Big Beefer, or also Fluffer Nuts. When I call her Fluffer Nuts, it just makes me laugh so much. And like that doesn't mean anything. That's a load of fucking nonsense.
What about Pinkles?
I think that was Stinkles or Tinkles. That was Tinkles.
Tinkles.
I don't know if I know what the origin of that one is at all.
All right. I like it.
Other ones were like her, DJ name, which I have a couple of passes at. Also her wrestling name, if she was ever to step into the wrestling ring, which is obviously important.
Do you have a DJ name?
I don't. I probably do, but I can't remember what it would be. That's definitely something I will have given thought to in the past, but
definitely have for your dog.
It's not. I do. I have multiple for my dog. Yeah, I mean it's more important for her. I can see her. I can more realistically see her behind a set of decks than me.
So can I.
Right. And just so I don't seem completely insane. If you're done with questions, I talked to a friend about this at the weekend, and she gave me her list of her cat's nicknames.
That's great. So I will say that I get it, because Sweetie Head that was a nickname. I was like trying out different names, and I just kept calling, then coming like that was just like a name that I kept like coming back to. Oh, you Sweetie Head, and then I was just like, I think her name is fucking Sweetie Head. I think I named a cat Sweetie Head.
It's not bad.
I know. So yes, give me your friend's cat's names.
Okay. So we
I
have.
love that this is like something you guys were sitting down
We
like,
had a
okay,
coffee
we're
the
gonna
other
talk
day,
about
and
yeah.
we were just talking about pet nicknames, and I said if we're going to do an episode on it, and she was like, oh. And I sent her, I messaged her, so I sent them to me. So far she has Stinky Butt, Sleepy Bean, E.P. Thompson,
E.P. Thompson.
Beano, Squeakums, Squeaky Bum, and Stinkums. And like she said, beside E.P. Thompson, she's written a long story, so I'll get the story off her next time.
Okay, I need an update on E.P. Thompson.
I like how that's an outlier. I like most of them. You're like, oh, I can see this, and then E.P. Thompson out of nowhere. It's amazing. It's just refreshing that I'm not completely insane and other people do things like this, and it just
Do we do
amuses
this
me.
for Yes. Do we do this for humans?
No, humans aren't as much fun.
I think we should. Like, what would you do if someone called you like Big Beefer?
I really would quite like it, as long as it's not insulting. Like, I don't know whether you find it for like nicknames in the UK often were kind of like insulting, or like a body part that people wanted to make fun of, or something horrifying.
Or like, God, you're smelling farts. Yeah.
So it's not something you want to be reminded of. So like, yeah, they do happen, but they're not as sweet. They're not as kind.
Yeah.
Like for years, one of my groups of friends has been trying to give me a nickname, and it just has never worked, and I'm quite pleased about that.
Or people that try and like make their own nickname.
Yeah.
I have some friends that are like, I'm trying to make the whatever nickname happen, and like, I'm like, really?
I know. Don't do that.
Don't. Yeah, it's like it's got to be given. You can't make it up yourself.
These things happen organically, and they have to be given. Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a monkey is a good pet?
No.
So, I had a theater teacher in like elementary and middle school, and maybe part of high school, and she had 4 fingers on one hand. Don't know why. Never asked that question. And she was super funny. She was on she was on the, I'm not going to give her name, but she was on there was a vampire show in like the 60s called Dark Shadows. And
yes.
She was on Dark Shadows. Okay. So she was my drama teacher, and 4 fingers on one hand, don't know why. And she was telling us this story one day about how someone gifted her a chimpanzee as a present. And she was like, I work in theater. I'm gone all the time. And so it would sit in her living room in its cage, and it would ball up its own shit and just wait for her to come home. And then she would open the door, and it would just start throwing its own shit at her.
Wow.
So that's not a pet that ended up working out for her.
No.
But I was just curious. What would you do if someone gave you a surprise puppy? If I showed up and I was like, ta-da! I got you a puppy.
I probably wouldn't. I mean, I would love the puppy. I would look after the puppy, but I would be pissed off about this because it's such a thing to do, and it's such and as chaotic as I am, I am like Mr. Responsibility, and I want to actually really think about things and make sure I'm doing the right thing, and it's such a puppy's like 14 years of your life, probably, 12 to 14 years of your life.
Hopefully,
yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
So it's such a big ask. But, I would be upset with him, but I'd probably, immediately fall in love with the puppy and probably not be that upset. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I would be all over it.
Yeah.
I'd be all over it. For me, I would, okay, so, dream future pets, I would love to have a pig.
Yeah, you said that before.
I just want one so bad, and there's this pig farm nearby that we visited, and you just go and you hang out with all these big pigs and little pigs, and I just love animals. I don't know I always have. I've always lived in the chaos of a lot of animals. I think I told you we fostered parrots. We had an African gray and a green winged macaw,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, and then also
Yeah.
Frankie.
Yep.
So it was like one room of the house was like the bird
Because that was
room.
pretty recent. Yes, that was pretty recently.
That
Like
was during
during COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the green winged macaw figured out. Well, I mean, the things that this bird would say. It was like she was. I want to say she was in her 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were like mid 20s or 30s, which is so weird when you're talking about an
I know.
animal. But she figured out how to when we would leave the house, or like, you know, we had a meeting, shut the door. She would scream. She'd be like, "Help! I'm in here! Help! I'm in here! Let me out! Help me!" Like, you could hear her from outside the house. We were on like
Wow.
7 acres this way and a half acre this way, and you could hear her screaming like a human being. So that was a fun experience. But I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, but I love lots of animals. I
Yeah.
love the chaos of it. I love how they all like there's a hierarchy. And honestly, like in our house, the 9-year-old rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
Sophie, is the boss. Like the bird will fly down on the ground and Sophie's like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
Even though Sophie will not leave his carpet.
Yeah.
Sophie's a boy, whatever.
Yes.
Um uh and the bird's like, "Ah!" And like the dog will try and like chase the bunny, and the bunny will be like, "And like,
There's so in my sister's house, she currently has a cat. So the cat, when you were talking about like feline injuries earlier, like so, has lost an eye.
Ooh,
Uh,
oh, little one
I
eye.
know, but like through infection a couple of years back,
I'm
but she looks really,
sorry.
it looks really badass. Like my sister's been talking about like building or
She needs an eye
an eye patch
patch.
exactly. You know, she'd be like the Nick Fury of the cat world.
Oh my god.
So, but
What color is the
she's
cat?
white. So like
Cat is
a
totally
black
Nick
eye patch
Fury.
on white cat would probably look quite cool. Anyway, there's no way she'd put up with it. She's an asshole. She wouldn't like it at all.
Just for the 3 seconds for the picture.
You know, but
That's
like
all we ask.
currently, so because she's a bit older and she's like really starting to settle in, and she really just can't be arsed with anything anymore. She basically has a chair in their house that is set up like a throne. I will send you a picture of this, and she is 100% the boss of that house. Like all of the dogs, like don't fuck with her, because like every one of them will have when they were younger and will have got a claw to the nose and went, okay, yeah, I'm not messing with this anymore. Um, so it's really currently like this is her seat, and I went in and I was like, what? She's got this like beanbaggy pillow, and round her, my sister was like, yeah, that's mine. That was mine, but not anymore. So Snowy's decided it's hers now, and that's how it goes. So yeah,
Okay.
but it is interesting like how when cats and dogs are together in a household, all too often the cats are like top dog, ironically.
The alpha of the
Very much so.
animal population. Okay, you might need to think on this for a
Mm-hmm.
second or two. What's the weirdest pet or animal story you've ever heard or experienced?
If you have one, go ahead and I'll have a think.
I mean, other than the bird screaming, "Help him in here," it's probably the African gray parrot.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, no. This is a story that involves my dad and telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
So he had wanted a bulldog like forever, forever, forever. And I remember I used to go to pet stores like when they were more like plentiful, and now like pet stores aren't really like the best place to buy an animal. Like they're not bred right.
Yeah.
There's a whole like animal trade. It's not like, you want to know where you're getting your animal or you want to get a rescue. But I remember I was at a pet store hanging out looking at all the animals, and my dad calls and he's like, "Come over. Like, so I got something to show you." And I was like, "Did you get a dog?" And he was like, "What dog?" And I was like, "Did you get a bulldog?" He's like, "What bulldog?" And I was like, "Did you get a bulldog puppy?" And he's like, "What bulldog puppy?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'll be right over." And
Whoa.
like showed up, and there she was. There she was.
That's awesome.
And actually, yeah, she's on the YouTube picture for this episode, sleeping on her side. And I have an upside down photo of her. That's like the most horrifying thing ever. But she was 3.5 months old, and she was just like running like a hellion. If
Nice.
you can imagine a bulldog running like a hellion
Yeah,
for
that's
like
great.
3 hours, and my dad was just like, "How am I going to deal with this dog?" So it wasn't so much like a weird animal experience, but just like a weird like thing with
Yeah,
my dad
just
that
a.
had to do with the dog.
I love it. That's very
It was
cool.
just like I like that's how well we knew each other. I knew
You to the tone of his voice was like, I know what's up.
to the age of the fucking
That's so
dog.
great.
So,
Yeah, I love it.
what about you?
Um, like I'm trying to think of stuff. I'm sure there's others will occur to me, but I definitely the one that immediately springs to mind. It's not really a weird story, but like and one of the dogs I forgot to kind of mention. Kind of when I was in Taiwan, my ex who I was living with, we ended up looking after a golden retriever for about 8 months. I was there out there for 2 years. I was there for 2 years. I think eight to 12 months, and we were seriously considering taking her back to the UK because once we were done in Taiwan, we were planning to come back to the UK for a while, um, and we were starting to make preparation for doing that. So the thing I remember with her is she loved to swim, but we once took her to the beach and we were going to go boogie boarding, and like became really attached to me and really attached to my ex, and we went out boogie boarding, and we went quite far out, and like we looked towards the beach to where the dog was sitting with our friends, and the dog was not there, and then we saw in the ocean she was out of the water, she was swimming towards us. I was like, fuck, and so she got out to us, but she was exhausted. So I had to like in the water drag her onto the boogie board and like push her back in into shore. The Hallion. So absolute eat it. So that was me done boogie boarding for the day because I was just like, I'm staying here and like after you eat it. Um,
Yeah.
but like one of my other favorite things, and I will remember this always, was that she loved to swim. Like I think golden retrievers, labs, and stuff like that do love to swim generally speaking. Um, she would swim, and then when she changed her direction, her tail would go straight up like a rudder on a boat, and she would just like do until she was in the right direction, and the tail would go back down again, and she would swim on. And it was the cutest thing. It really was. But yeah.
Love it. I love it. Um, if you, okay, do you know anyone that has an unusual pet?
Um, I'm gonna mispronounce these. Some of the kids I work with, or one of the kids in particular, has an axolotl. Axolotl.
Oh yeah, yeah, those little lizard thingies with
Mm-hmm.
the cute little
Yeah, that live in the water. Yeah, they're
the
amphibian.
little
Yes,
tendrils.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've known people who've had snakes and things like that. But that's probably the most unusual one in this country. It's harder to get like true exotic stuff in this country, I think. So that's definitely the most uncommon I have come across. Though I've known, like I've known people who've interested in reptiles and have like big sort of reptile setups. But yeah.
I guess skunks make pretty good pets. You can remove their stink sacs.
No way.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, I don't know. It depends on the state here, like if it's legal or not. But when they get mad at you, it's like they turn around, they're just like, oh, like
Yeah.
trying to stink you, but they can't. And
Wow.
like that image is just like one of the funniest things
How
ever.
interesting. I had no idea that was even a thing because I would have just thought the
Yeah.
stink sacks would have made it impossible for them to be pets at all. Yeah.
No, no, Steve, you can remove them, and not that I'm recommending that,
No.
but some people do, and yeah, they'll try and stink you,
How
make you
interesting.
angry,
Have
but
you?
they can't.
So you've known somebody who has had one, or excuse
I,
me,
I, it was like a friend of a
friend
friend.
of a friend? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and like someone else had a raccoon, which I don't know if that's legal here or not. Depends on the state. Um, and they like shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this author. Her name's Jenny Lawson. She does.
I know that name. Yeah.
Yeah, she writes books and she has a blog about, um, you know, life and depression and her love of
Uh
taxidermy.
huh. How
But
interesting.
her dad was always rescuing animals, and at some point came back with like 5 baby raccoons, and like her mom made them all pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice. I love
little
it.
like raccoons in their pajamas, and like they ended up with just like keeping one of them. I think its name was Rocky,
Mm-hmm.
and you can find this book on Apple Audio and Apple Books, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. But the raccoon loved to wash its hands in the sink with soap.
Mm-hmm.
So if you left it, it would just like wash it. So they had to hide the soap and like keep the raccoon out of the bathroom when they would leave the house.
How
But like
interesting.
one day, like it got into the bathroom and it got the soap, and like by the time they got home, it was just like a sliver of soap, and she was like, it just looked exhausted. Just like, someone please come and take the soap away. I can't stop washing my hands with it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a. It's because the thing is as well. Like I mean, certainly in the greater US, you just have such a much more fascinating range of animals. Like I think I've told you
We
before.
do.
Like
It's true.
the most dangerous animal currently living in Ireland. I think I'm right in this is a badger, and badgers. They're not. They're, they're no joke, but they're not dangerous in the way like a wolf would be, a bear would be. So yeah,
Yeah.
we just don't have that sort of
Yeah.
diversity.
No.
The,
Bobcats, like
yeah,
dangerous cats, big cats,
yeah, exactly.
bears, grizzly bears.
Do you have coyotes? Coyotes are dangerous, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like especially around here, it's like don't let your animals out
Yeah.
because they'll get eaten, and they travel in packs.
And the animal that I've always my sort of aspirational pet, and I don't think I'll ever have one, is the sugar gliders.
Oh yes,
I kind of really would love
they look
that.
like squirrels,
Yeah.
but they like
They open their
yeah,
wings and they can just fly across it.
but they're like They're like little.
They're little,
Like
yeah, they would hang on your finger
they'll
sort of
like
thing.
rest on your
Mm-hmm.
finger. Uh huh. Like those little like things on pencils that you used to have as a kid.
Yes.
Did you have those?
I know exactly what you're talking about. We did. Yeah. Very elaborate ones, yeah. But I would love.
Yeah, I'm like game like if it wanders in the yard and it's like injured and it needs like a place to be for the rest of its life, like I will take that animal.
I think I said before, like, yeah, I compared you to either two different people. It was Snow White or Ace Ventura. So Beth's like a mashup of Snow White and Ace Ventura.
It's true, and I do like sometimes like you'll talk to me and the bird will be here.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Which is nice, right? It's a compliment. Yeah.
It is, and I asked Mike. I was like, what should be our next pet? And I got a quote. He said, "None if you want to keep fucking traveling. Pet rock or adopt a goat in Africa."
Perfect.
Because we got the doggy bird bunny hotel bill.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell you how much it was.
No, I'm sure it's scary. Very good.
It was ludicrous. Let me see if I have any more questions. No, I think we hit it.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, I definitely think this is something we could come back to. We could talk more about animals certainly in the future, but I think that was good.
Yes.
So I guess, now that we're back, we've had some time away. Well, this is going to come so easy to us. I'm going to ask you the question.
There's two questions. Do we do two questions, or is there? It's joy and gratitude, right?
No, we've been doing it in joy. What's been bringing you joy? I don't know if we divided it up. Did we? People are screaming at us.
I don't
right
remember.
now.
Know they're like, God damn it, figure your shit out, you guys.
And the answer is no, we will not. We're going to make it chaotic.
We can't conform because we don't know what we're doing. 3 weeks is a long time.
So I'm just going. Let's just ask. Let's just see what's bringing us joy this week, and yeah, and we can maybe. I mean, like, I think I can put both those things. I can put all of my things into joy, but I'm also grateful for them too. If that kind of makes sense. And
yeah, I'm gonna have to I'll look back and
please do.
See what we've been doing,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna do it in this moment. So I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I write this down ahead of time because I have to think hard about it.
Yeah.
I would say coming home and just actually coming home and being happy to be home.
Yep. Yeah.
Is bringing me joy. That means that we made the right decision in moving.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It means that we made the right decision in the house that we live in. It means that we made the right decision in the town that we live in. The kids didn't cry when they went to school today. It means that we picked the right place for them to go to school. It's just like I'm joyful to be home.
Yeah.
I'm joyful to be back doing this
Yeah, me
and
too.
just starting to step back into like a life routine um, that involves wearing deodorant
Oh,
and
boo.
remembering to do that. I know.
Oh, big deodorant. So happy right
I
now.
know. Right? Big deodorant. It's like big tobacco.
Exactly. Yeah, those monsters trying to make us smell good.
It's actually no, it's I use crystal. I use crystal,
Yeah,
not
just
real
wave them
deodorant.
around. Yeah, yeah.
What
Um,
about you?
so I have two things. First of all, is I was going to say very much, and it just reminded me over Christmas and coming back and seeing you is the thing that always reliably brings me joy, no matter how fucking miserable I am or how much of a downer I am. It's my friends, being around my friends, it's talking to my friends, it's being in their presence. It just it really makes what life worth living, and I think my trip back home was a reminder of that. Us continuing to do this is a reminder of that, and it's something I need reminded of a lot.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
it does, and it's a constant source of joy in my life, and long may it continue. Um,
What, friendship or the podcast?
both.
I love you too, buddy.
Yeah, I love you. um, so the other thing, it's dafter, but the product that I have been really enjoying over the new year, and one that I've been dying to tell you about, is a video game. It's called Dave the Diver.
Dave the oh
Right. Check this out, because you were naming fish to me. So basically, what it is, it's a sim where you're this diver, this like fictional sort of, because it morphs every day. You're a diver, and your friend, who seems to be some sort of arms dealer, has called you there because he's opening a sushi restaurant. And a day, during the day, you dive and you catch fish and stuff like that. And at night, you bring your fish to this sushi chef, and you work in the sushi restaurant. It's rad. It's so daft, so
what
funny.
gaming console
It's
are you
on
playing this on?
Switch, but it's also on PC.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's like the fish you're talking about your Titan trigger fish, and it's like, oh yeah, they are in this game. Like, it's teaching me so much about that sort of thing as well. But like,
Yeah.
it gets really daft, but it's really kind of got quite a sweet sort of heart to it, and yeah, it's really lovely. It just because I think whenever you were talking about eating sushi and diving, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell Beth about this. But it's been
I did I did eat a lot of ton it's called ton rouge, it's red tuna when I was there. I know.
nice.
It's so good. It's to the point where like I can't eat sushi here.
Oh really? So I suppose the level of freshness is worlds
Yeah.
apart. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that caught that day.
Oh man, so good, so
Yeah.
good.
And now I know how to cut it.
Oh
So I can make my
really?
own ton rouge. Yeah.
Because
So okay.
I've tried making
No,
sushi
go ahead.
before, and I just butchered
Yeah.
it when I got it. Yeah, but
Literally like just cut it and eat it. It's that good.
okay.
It doesn't need
Oh,
rice. It doesn't need
oh,
like it doesn't even need like any sauces or anything. You could just it's like eating butter
oh,
but fish.
so
So
good,
fucking good.
so good.
Yeah. I love your okay. I started watching Slow
Oh
Horses
yeah.
because you recommended
Uh
it.
huh.
And Mike doesn't like anything ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, can we watch more tonight? I love Jackson
Yeah.
Lamb so much. So we're totally on season 2.
Yes.
And it's so
Isn't
good.
it? Isn't
So that is bringing me joy.
good?
Yeah.
Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, isn't you've never seen a character like I've never seen a character like him on TV.
No, definitely not. And it's like he's lovable
Yes.
and hateable.
Yes.
And Mike's like, I just want to like go around and be him all the time. And I'm like, but he's nice to people that he doesn't know.
It's
He's
true.
an asshole to the people that he does.
It's-
So, like, no, thank you.
yeah, exactly. Let's do that idea. Yeah, that's great.
Right.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good
yeah.
fun. Like every time he opens his mouth, it just makes me so happy. Like it's so funny.
Anytime he's in a scene,
Yeah, it's
and
just
when
like
he's not in a scene, it's like it's not quite like I'm
I
just
agree.
waiting for him to show up.
Like, I think the show is overall pretty good. I like it, but he just elevates it to a whole other level. Yeah.
Are they gonna make a 4th season?
Yes. So what they do is they seem to like film them back to back. Like, so the season 4 is already filmed, but they're not going to release it until later on this year.
Okay.
So yeah, it's great.
So we'll have to watch, what is it, The Boys, and then...
Gen V? Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that. Did you try that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But like, I love all that shit.
I mean, it wasn't as gratuitous for me.
No.
It was more, I don't know. It wasn't as gratuitous and awful.
It's true.
Which is apparently what I go for.
You're like, yeah.
Right. That's
what you're looking for.
That's more my jam.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Let me adopt your pet.
Yeah. Taking it right back. Okay, but I think that's us just wrapping things up for this week.
Okay.
So,
are we
folks,
ready?
he's ready. Not only are we ready, you're ready for this. We're going to smash it out of the park, as always. As always, right?
As always.
So, as always, we would like to remind you to I was trying to be more chaotic, and that was actually quite good. Damn it. All right, bye. We love you.
Your friends win.
Yeah.
Bye, love you, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Bendy, a Beth and Andy podcast. We love having you here with us each week, so keep those ideas and feedback coming. If you haven't already, please follow and subscribe to Bendy on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and YouTube. You can listen to all of our episodes and now access our YouTube videos and subscribe to our Patreon page at bendypodcast.com. In next week's episode, we discuss the power of touch, how healing it can be, and how touch is different in each of our countries. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us to stay up to date. And thanks for being here with us. You always have a friend with Bendy.